Few in the galaxy have seen and done so much as Mara Jade. Imperial assassin, entertainer, rogue, smuggler, and Jedi, Jade has done and seen it all. Raised from birth to be as loyal as she would be deadly, her world and everything she had been taught to believe had been overturned when the Empire fell, leaving her adrift, but not aimless. Revenge for the destruction of the Emperor became her sole focus until once again, everything changed.
You are listening to the Star Lords Podcast.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Are you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder?
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Early life. Mara Jade, born in 17 BBY, was taken by Emperor Palpatine to Coruscant, where she was trained in the Force and became an Imperial agent. Officially a palace dancer, she remembered little of her early life, except her parents' reluctance to let her go, and her certainty about leaving with the Emperor. Some in the Imperial court mistook her as only a dancer or concubine. Throughout her youth, Mara Jade underwent intensive training alongside the Imperial Royal Guard, mastering espionage and assassination by age 14. She became an Emperor's Hand after passing a final test by infiltrating Grand Moff Tarkin's private quarters. Disguised as a guest during an event at the Tarkin estate's private residence, she feigned illness, descended to Tarkin's safe room, and fought off the guards. Despite her ruthless efficiency, dispatching the droid guards, she spared the only living guard and merely knocked him out, as she saw no use in killing a person willing to give their life in a mere training exercise. Impressed at her infiltration abilities, Vader and Sidious appointed her as an Emperor's Hand. Despite multiple Emperor's Hands, each was unaware of the others. Jade had a deep Force connection with Palpatine, allowing telepathic communication across the galaxy. She executed his will, eliminating corrupt officials and traitors. Palpatine valued her highly, granting her relaxation time, a personal starship, a protocol droid named K3, and private quarters on Coruscant, where she kept her lightsaber and weapon collection. Her efficiency led to a dark rivalry with Darth Vader, who despised her treatment, which he often observed as coddling by the Emperor. The Emperor allowed Mara to believe she might even aspire to become his own apprentice, and even went so far as to discipline Vader in front of Jade, stoking an even greater animosity between the Emperor's servants. Mara, for her part, was rarely admonished. Even when she failed, she was always praised for her success. This stoked an inferno of resentment in Vader, who knew Jade was simply another tool of the Emperor, and that she was one of many hands. However, he was unable to express these feelings openly at Palpatine's orders. Of course, the Emperor, ever the manipulator, knew how to play both of his servants, provoking Vader by his blatantly favorable and lenient treatment of Mara Jade, while making Jade believe she was more special than she actually was, to inflate her ego and cement her loyalty, while ensuring the absolute loyalty of both to himself. Threats from Without.
Before the Battle of Yavin and the destruction of the first Death Star, Mara Jade was tasked with hunting down surviving Jedi, including Anya Kuro, also known as the Dark Woman, a powerful Jedi and longtime target of the Empire. Despite gathering intelligence and interrogating sources to finally locate the hidden master, Vader was sent instead to complete the mission, as Jade was seen as too weak for such a dangerous target. In the years between the battles of Yavin and Hoth, Jade spied on Darth Vader as well, reporting his actions to the Emperor. She witnessed his assault on the Massassi temples and envied his obsession with Luke Skywalker, hoping to replace Vader as the Emperor's apprentice. Despite her resentment, Jade performed tasks for Vader as well. Around 1.5 ABY, she uncovered information on Rebel droids C-3PO and R2-D2, which was collected by an Imperial spacer. She was also participated in Empire Day celebrations on Naboo, orchestrating the rescue of 6 Imperial officers from a Rebel prison on Corellia, earning Jade and other Imperial operators on the mission the Imperial Badge of Meritorious Service. Around the time of the Battle of Hoth, Jade visited the planet Belsavis to follow up on reports of a fugitive Jedi.
Threat from Within. No one was above investigation, and Jade was sent to gather intelligence and arrest or even assassinate Imperial officers and governors. In one such case, Mara Jade investigated Moff Glovestoke by posing as Countess Claria as an alias. She discovered he was skimming taxes meant for the Imperial Center. During a formal party, she faked intoxication and retreated to a private room, leaving an inflatable dummy behind. Changing into a combat suit, she infiltrated his office and found 6 stolen paintings worth millions of credits. Jade reported her findings to Palpatine, but also protected General Dirian, whom she believed to be honest, from the fallout of Glovestoke's downfall. After the Moff's arrest, Mara Jade investigated who delivered the stolen paintings and those aiding him. At the Bertraub Brothers Storage and Reclamation Center, she sensed criminal activity linked to the stolen paintings. When the owners tried to drug her, she confronted and subdued one of the brothers, who revealed the additional involvement of the Bloodscars, a pirate gang. Jade stowed away on a Bloodscars HT 2200 medium freighter, which was attacking an Imperial transport. She quickly took over the ship, captured the pirate Tanis, and called for help from the Star Destroyer Reprisal. On board, Captain Kendall Ozzel coldly greeted her, fearing she was investigating him due to an unrelated incident involving stormtrooper deserters. Jade requested assistance and received 2 Imperial Security Bureau agents. Posing as an independent thief, Jade infiltrated the Bloodscars base on Gepperin. The ISB agents that had accompanied her betrayed her and attempted to kill her by their treacherous commanders. But their attack drew pirate attention, blowing the ruse. Jade tried to deal with the Commodore, the pirate leader, but was interrupted. Captain Ozzel and Salmaril bombarded the base, trying to kill Jade and the pirates, in an attempt to bury everything. Despite the Imperial bombardment and a subsequent aerial raid, Mara Jade managed to escape. Her continued investigation led her to the planet Shalkanwa, where she found Vader searching for Leia Organa. Suspecting Governor Barshness Choard of treason, she informed Vader, who allowed her to investigate. Jade was attacked by an AT-ST, but was thwarted by rogue stormtroopers, the Hand of Judgment. Jade took them under her command, and with their help, defeated Caldra and arrested Choard. Jade vouched for the rogue stormtroopers in front of Vader, later learning their story. She let them go, warning them to lie low and abandon their name, asserting she was the only hand in the Empire. Mara Jade was tasked with eliminating corrupt judge Lamos Chator. Ambushed by his guards, she defeated them and executed Chator. Upon returning to her shuttle, Palpatine assigned her to investigate Governor Bidor Farouz of the Kandora sector for alleged treason. To remain inconspicuous, Jade tracked down the rogue stormtrooper group, the Hand of Judgment, and recruited them for the mission. Using their modified ship, they flew to Puln Major. Jade staged an incident to infiltrate the governor's palace, where she confirmed Farouz's treason, but learned he was coerced by warlord Nuso Esva, who kidnapped his family. As Esva's forces attacked, Jade, along with the Hand of Judgment, rescued Farouz and his family, confronting and defeating the attackers. They hid in a tap cafe and struck a truce with the rebel ambassador, Veston Axelon, allowing the rebels to leave while they dealt with Esva. Jade's suspicions about security officer Pakri led her to a hidden passage to the kidnappers. She used explosives and an overhead crane arm to infiltrate the area. With the help of rebel pilot Luke Skywalker, they freed the family and fought off the guards. An Imperial fleet destroyed Esva's forces, and Jade allowed Farouz to live, recognizing his coerced treason. After the mission, Jade searched for the Hand of Judgment, but they had disappeared. Hunt for Skywalker.
Months before the Battle of Endor, Mara Jade was in Palpatine's chamber when Darth Vader introduced the Force-sensitive cyborg, Lumia. However, Jade was dismissed before Lumia's official induction as a hand, thus preserving the illusion of there only being one. After the Battle of Hoth, Palpatine's worries about Luke Skywalker led Jade to infiltrate Jabba's palace on Tatooine, disguised as the dancing girl, Erica. While there, she witnessed C-3PO and R2-D2's arrival, and questioned C-3PO about Skywalker. Jabba's security member, Melina Karnas, suspected Jade of planning to assassinate Jabba and attempt to arrest her. Jade turned the tables, using the Force to make Melina shoot a Gamorrean guard. Jade fled through the tunnel in the Rancor pit, where she watched Skywalker kill a Rancor. She tried to join Jabba on the sail barge, but was instead given a land speeder and told to leave. Her mission thwarted, Jade returned to the Imperial Center to face an unhappy Palpatine. Years later, a Force vision revealed to Skywalker that if Jade had been at the Great Pit of Carkoon, she would have prevented his escape.
Dark Stars, Dark Omens. After her mission on Tatooine, Jade was tasked by the Emperor to eliminate Dekuuk, a Geodu attempting to revive Black Sun through his own empire, Black Nebula. Jade arrived on Svivren and scouted Dekuuk's base, realizing she needed a distraction. She requested stormtroopers from General Touuno and planned a raid with Captain Strock. The raid failed, with most Imperials killed, but Jade used the chaos to assassinate a Geodu she believed was Dekuuk. Reporting her success, Jade received a vacation from Palpatine, but remained suspicious. Simulating the assassination, she confirmed the target was a decoy. Before informing Palpatine, she witnessed his death through a Force link and received his final command: "You will kill Luke Skywalker." Overcome by his death agonies, she was unconscious and later captured by Hussein Yasard's agents. Imprisoned and pressured to aid Yasard's power bid, Jade escaped the Blackwater world of Forless, working as a waitress under the alias Chiara Lorne. When Black Nebula arrived to collect a debt from her employer, Gorb Drigg, Jade fought them off, but failed to save Drigg and her friend Jorshman. Discovering Deku's base on Kiax, she infiltrated a casino disguised as the Baroness Paltonnet, using the Force to create illusions and gain access to Deku. Inside, she encountered Strock, revealed as a Black Nebula agent. Forced to kill him to protect her identity, she went on the offensive when his death was discovered. Jade infiltrated Deku's safe house in the Bubble Cliffs of Nesmi, using her lightsaber and explosives to kill him and his guards. She escaped through a secret passage and stole Deku's private yacht, filled with information on Black Nebula, and left it at an Imperial spaceport for the authorities to find. Shattered Purpose.
Her life in shambles, hunted by Hussein Isard, who was tying up loose ends and trying to reform the Empire. Jade did odd jobs and manual labor while her Force abilities faded and resurfaced sporadically, just to get by in the months following the fall of the Empire. On Kantani, Jade encountered Rebel General Crix Maydeen and former Imperial Governor Barclay. She infiltrated their building, tricked the rebels, and made a deal with Maydeen to escape with Barclay. After discovering Barclay's embezzlement, she executed him and informed Maydeen. On Chibias, she met Slicer Zacharias Ghent and helped him escape from Imperial Governor Egeron's aide Marco. Posing as a broker, she brought Ghent to Aragon's palace to slice a computer, discovering Egeron's plan to sell information from a Star Destroyer's control node. She created a diversion, escaped with Ghent, and executed Egeron. Marco took Ghent hostage, but eventually released him, and Jade suggested Ghent return home. Jade drifted through various jobs, including working as a come-up flector for a swoop gang under the alias Marilis. She lost her magenta lightsaber in a duel with Lumia, who was sent by Hussein Isard. Jade later worked as a hyperdrive mechanic on Voronat under the name Selena Marnis. Fortune struck when she saved smuggler Baron Talon Card from an ambush on Varorant, impressing him and earning a job offer. Jade had been working at the spaceport and recognized Card's alias, following him into the jungle and killing his captors. She rescued him. Card was so impressed that he immediately offered her a position.
Reforging. Jade joined Card's organization around 8.5 ABY and quickly rose through the ranks. Her dormant Force abilities resurfaced when she brought Card's fighter, the Wild Card, out of hyperspace and found Luke Skywalker's damaged X-Wing. Grand Admiral Thrawn, the leader of the resurgent Empire, had posted a bounty on Skywalker, and Card considered selling him to Thrawn or extorting the New Republic for his return. Instead, he kept Skywalker at his base on Mirkor, where Islamari blocked his Force abilities. Jade initially wanted to kill Skywalker, but Karrde forbade it. When Skywalker escaped, Jade pursued him, leading to their crash in the Vornisker-infested forest. They were forced to work together to survive, and eventually escaped with the help from Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, and Karrde's men. Karrde's organization fled Mirkor due to an Imperial investigation. While setting up a new base on Rishi, she killed bounty hunter Gunnar Groth, and later turned herself over to Thrawn on Abrogado Rey, reclaiming her role as the Emperor's hand under Thrawn's rule, however. Thrawn double-crossed her by tracking her ship, leading to Karrde's capture. Jade sought Luke Skywalker's help to rescue Karrde. Together, they freed him from the Star Destroyer Chimera and escaped. Jade and Karrde's group later aided the New Republic in the battle for the Katana Fleet, where Jade was rescued by Skywalker. On Coruscant, she foiled an Imperial intrusion and was imprisoned, but later broke out to help the New Republic. Jade provided the location of Wayland's cloning center and journeyed with Skywalker to destroy it. They faced Jorah Sabaoth and a clone of Skywalker, which Jade ultimately killed, freeing herself from Palpatine's telepathic command. Skywalker gifted her his father's lightsaber, solidifying their bond. Jade continued to support the New Republic, even after the return of Palpatine. Sidious, angered by her defection, sent agents to capture her, but she was rescued by Kal Katarn and his associates, during which they discovered an unknown Sith temple. Arise, a Knight.
After renouncing the dark side, Jade sought Jedi training from Kal Katarn. The two engaged in a reciprocal apprenticeship based on the ancient Jedi concordance of fealty tradition. In 10 ABY, Jade joined Katarn on Altair 5, aiding the New Republic against the Dark Empire. Katarn successfully repelled the Imperial attack and discovered a lead on the lost planet Dromund Kaas. Jade's first mission for the Republic involved negotiating with Ka-Pa, the Hutt, for supplies. To gain his cooperation, she had to steal an illegal global communications transponder device from another crime lord and rival, Takara. Trapped by Takara in a Catrassi spaceport, Mara Jade escaped by killing a Rancor and successfully retrieving the device, securing Ka-Pa's assistance. On her second mission, Jade was aboard a Republic Corellian corvette guarding a Jedi holocron when Karabani pirates attacked. She repelled the attackers but lost the holocron. To retrieve it, she boarded a cargo crate bound for Rathalay, the pirates' base. There she reclaimed the holocron and encountered the severed head of droid 8T-88, noting its plans for vengeance. Jade then arrived on Dromund Kaas in search of Katarn. Navigating the planet's swamps and the Dark Force Temple, she found Katarn consumed by the dark side. After multiple confrontations, she ultimately surrendered, leading Katarn to realize his mistake and return to the light side. When Palpatine returned in a cloned body, Jade rejected him, aiding the New Republic in evacuating Coruscant and ferrying cargo. Palpatine replaced her and other hands with new dark-side adepts, such as Sadras QL. After Katarn left the Jedi to return to his military career, Jade joined Karrde on a mission to track down George Karadas, using a cover story of being involved with Lando Calrissian. Their search took them to the Kothal Rift, where they aided Krev Bombassa, a favor Karrde later leveraged. In 11 ABY, Jade returned to the Jedi Praxium on Yavin 4 during a tumultuous period marked by Gantoris' death and Kip Duron's rebellion, both influenced by the Sith Lord Exar Kun's spirit. Initially, she and Corran Horn, a student under the alias Carrion Halcyon, clashed but eventually formed a bond. She lent Horn her headhunter, which Duron later stole. Jade and Horn trained together under Cam Solasar, learning to appreciate their differences. When Kun's spirit attacked, putting Skywalker in a coma, Jade returned to help defeat Kun with Horn and the other students. During this period, Jade became a leader of the Smugglers' Alliance. She assisted Lando Calrissian in taking control of Kessel from Mora Thadul. Despite Calrissian's persistent flirting, she respected his gesture of gifting the Falcon to Han Solo. When confronted by a prototype Death Star, Jade and Calrissian sabotaged it, ultimately destroying it with the help of Kip Duron. While the Solos were on Belsavis, Jade provided them with information on the planet, revealing her previous mission involving Palpatine's and Vader's mindless guards. She later learned that were multiple Emperor's hands, not just her, when the Solos informed her about Roganda Ismarin. Outraged, she headed to Belsavis, encountered Skywalker, and brainwashed crewers from the Eye of Palpatine, and assisted in treating them. Jade continued her on and off association with Calrissian and took a significant role in the Smugglers' Alliance. She warned Skywalker about a Hutt plot, met his new love interest Callista Ming, and maintained professional ties with Calrissian. She helped deliver Yzilmari to Han Solo and confronted Quiller, aiding in saving Skywalker from certain death. Commanding the Wild Card during Card's absence, Jade and her crew were captured by Ja Baradiran, who forced her to rescue his daughter, Sansai, from the slaver Che Parish. Despite being captured and thrown into the slime pits, Jade used her skills to escape with Sansai, aided by the scavenger Hishishi and Skywalker's lightsaber. They returned to Baradiran's mansion, where Card had already taken control. Jade learned the abduction was a setup for Baradiran to capture stolen prototypes. Outraged, Sansai gifted Jade an upgraded Sorosub yacht, which she renamed Jade's Fire. Card then helped Jade establish her own independent trading company.
Love finds a way. By 18 ABY, Mara Jade was temporarily out of Card's organization and running an independent trading company, preparing to take over Card's role. In the Talfaglio system, she intercepted a drone with an Imperial-coded message for Leia Organa Solo and delivered it to her on Corellia. The message revealed insurrection plans by the Sakorian Triad and the Human League. Led by Han Solo's cousin, Thraken Sal Solo, shortly after, Jade was captured by the Human League and imprisoned with Leia. They escaped and joined Han Solo on Solodia, where they helped thwart the Triad's plans to use a superweapon that destroys stars. In 19 ABY, Jade got involved in the Kamas document crisis, rescuing Luke Skywalker from pirates and discovering the Empire of the Hand's plans. On Nirawan, they infiltrated a fortress, encountered a clone of Thrawn, and destroyed the facility, leading to Luke and Mara's realization of mutual love. They returned with crucial information to resolve the Kamas document conflict and signed the Pelion-Gaversum Treaty. Their wedding, initially a simple Jedi ceremony, became a grand event on Coruscant. Despite an Imperial plot to disrupt the wedding, they successfully married and went on their honeymoon. A year later, Jade grew frustrated with Skywalker's constant responsibilities, but was pleased by his efforts to plan a second honeymoon. Over the next few years, Jade traveled with smuggler Mirax Tarek Horn, assisting the Jedi Academy and eventually being exonerated from charges brought against her and Mirax.
Hello and welcome aboard the Millennial Falcon. This is Christian.
And this is Jordan.
We're currently exploring the beautiful tunnels of the planet Kavan in the Hapes cluster. We just thought we'd stop by here for a quick minute.
I am a little bit claustrophobic, so let's not make this too long. But before we get into all that, how do we keep this bucket of bolts running? Well, it's from our patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Also wanted to give a shout out to one of our newest patrons, Joshua. Thank you so much, sir. If you wanted to support the show, you can become a Patreon member for $3 USD a month. You can get access to all the bonus episodes and some of the exclusive groups. And yeah, now, as we always say, if you're feeling a little bit more generous, you can do $5 a month, but we don't offer anything extra right now. If you're really hurting or you're strapped, we have a $1 a month option as well. Again, nothing changes, but we are asking people for $3 a month if you so choose. You can also buy single episodes on Patreon, as well as if you don't want to sign up for Patreon, you can subscribe on Spotify for $3 a month. And then all you get is just access to the bonus episodes, but that's all you want, no problem. We also accept single donations, PayPal on starlordspodcast@gmail.com. That's our PayPal. You can send it there. And we have some sweet merch on redbubble.com. Go there. You can get your swag. You can get your stickers, get your mugs, and buy some awesome merch. Also, if you want to help us spread the show to more ears, rate and review on your platform, wherever you listen to, if it's Spotify, Apple, anything else. Also, we are on YouTube, so go and subscribe on there if you so choose. We also reach out to us, get in touch. If you have any comments, any discussion, any fan fiction, anything like that, reach out to us. We are on Discord, Instagram, x.com, Facebook, and you can email us at starlordspodcast@gmail.com. For all these social medias, just search the Star Lords Podcast and we should come up. We should be one of the first ones that come up. And if you're having issues with the Discord link, just give us a message and we'll give you a up-to-date link if the one you click on doesn't work. Anyways, send in your Star Wars collections, your fan fiction, your headcanon, your in-universe ads. We take all that and we like to work with it and spread it amongst our community. And we have a pretty cool online community, so it's fun. For the in-universe ads, if you have a script or a recording, send it to us and we will probably feature it on the show. So anyways, I think that's all I got for today, Christian. So Mara Jade.
Back to you. Miss Mara Jade, one of the biggest character absences we can feel in the new Disney canon. Jade was very, very popular expanded universe character, the likes of like Thrawn or other big EU characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big point of Mara Jade is becoming Luke's wife, so her absence is quite noted in the new canon. She is a fantastic character. She's well loved by the community, and she's an excellent example of how not to be a Mary Sue. This episode is probably going to be pretty Disney centric, but I think it's very important to have this discussion.
Yeah,
especially with a lot of.
I think there's like a whole narrative around the Disney Star Wars and certain characters in that universe, and also criticisms of like the fandom and they don't like women characters.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
I'm going to
blah.
delve into all of that right here, right now. Because
So we it's something we definitely need to discuss.
to address,
on
the bullying by the media
Yeah.
against the innocent Star Wars fan base.
Yeah.
That hasn't always been perfectly innocent, but still. I'm here.
All fan bases are somewhat toxic, I will admit, but that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
If you can't accept some toxicity, then just like don't even bother.
Yeah. So first of all, the Mary Sue portion of this. Rey, I refuse to call her Skywalker. Rey Palpatine is guilty 100%. I've seen people try to defend her online of not being a Mary Sue. Absolutely, she fits every definition of what a Mary Sue is. Perfect at everything she does, unexplained skills and talents at everything she tries. All the legacy characters love her and adore her and give her things that are out of character, like Han Solo just handing over his starship and et cetera, so on and so forth. By every account,
No like major character flaws.
yeah, no
like,
major character, no
yeah.
losses, no nothing.
Yeah.
Perfect in every way. Absolutely, Rey is a Mary Sue, and I will fight anyone who tries to say otherwise. They're just
it's hard.
gaslighting
I don't know how like you couldn't that she's not like the textbook example
of a Mary
Sue.
Sue. Absolutely. Now that being said, we have another strong, capable character in the form of Mara Jade, who can exemplify all the benefits of a character like Rey, but also has drawbacks, also makes her interesting. Also, again, like well loved by the Star Wars community. Mara Jade, she has exceptional skills and talents. She's a Force user too, all those same things. She's also got flaws. She's got a character development. She goes from being a dark side, like Imperial agent,
like
to a Jedi.
elite level agent, and then like loses some of her abilities.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so much about Mara Jade that makes her an infinitely better character than Rey Skywalker.
Yeah.
Palpatine, sorry. The propaganda is getting to me too. So that's just a perfect example of how to write like a compelling, interesting, talented, like multifunctional character. Like Jade is an expert assassin, infiltrator. She can go toe to toe with almost anyone else in the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
But she's still interesting and has nuance, internal conflict, has a full arc, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't just win every battle she comes across or every challenge. So that's the first thing I kind of wanted to
and is like
call out.
Morally conflicted too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Yeah, especially earlier on. When,
Yeah.
like I said, that whole transition from going from a total dark side character to a light side character, that is an arc. That is a development in her character. This leads into my second complaint that often the Star Wars fandom gets accused of is hating strong female characters. Especially in the latest barrage of Disney content. I absolutely this accusation makes me angry. It honestly
it's so frustrating.
it's an insult.
Yeah.
Again, I just have to go back to like Mara Jade is well received by the Star Wars community
and there's
a long
lots
time
of,
ago.
like if you think of obviously Leia, but Bastila Shan.
Right,
like,
exactly. There are tons of characters.
There's tons
strong,
of female
independent female characters
that the fandom
has loved and adored and cherished. So that accusation absolutely does not hold water, and I've seen it in headlines. I've seen it from like Disney execs, and it is absolute garbage.
it's just nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. And again, Mara Jade, perfect example of one of those strong characters that we love, and Disney completely chooses to ignore and act like they don't exist.
Yeah.
So just getting all that out in front here. One more big thing I will kind of touch on in this kind of behind the scenes regard before we go into the character of Mara Jade. Admittedly, I get Disney allegedly trying to take Lucas's vision, at least early on, is what they claimed. Whether or not that's true, and I don't believe. Lucas actually wasn't a big fan of Mara Jade so Mara Jade came out with the Thrawn trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of her introduction to the Star Wars universe by Timothy Zahn, along with the other Hallmark characters like Thrawn and stuff. Again, well received by the community. But Lucas was not big on Luke having a love interest, and particularly around the whole marriage plot thing, which came a little later.
I do think the whole marriage to Luke Skywalker is a little more controversial in that it's like our Jedis shouldn't be getting married.
So initially that was Lucas's feeling.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like monks, right?
Yeah.
Now that being said,
but obviously also even Lucas is already well, I guess I don't know if how much had Anakin been established by then?
that I don't know, because this would have been probably in the 90s.
Yeah, it would have been like
say.
early 90s.
Yeah.
So I know in Lucas's later established lore, like clearly the love drama between Anakin and Padme was like a total disaster, right? And that if anything was a warning about Jedi's attachment and romance, that would be it, right? And so this kind of maybe flies in the face of that a little bit.
Yeah, so I do have a counter argument to that.
Okay.
Which we'll get into in a sec. I do want to step back a little bit and just make the argument that Disney's omission of Mara Jade might be in line with like, oh well, Lucas didn't really like this, so we're just gonna flatline it completely. Yeah. Possibly. I don't know. I don't read Disney minds. But rolling back into what you were saying there, yes, so Lucas' initial dislike of Jade and the marriage plot and everything, there is obviously weight to that. However, I do think that the counter argument makes a very strong case for that being one of the flaws in the Jedi of the past, and that love, and this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a mushy example, but how almost like when Anakin was jokingly saying like Jedi are encouraged to love when he's talking to Padme, is kind of true, and that this like kind of redeemed Jedi Order that Luke has established actually starts to get things right in terms of like you can love without like selfish attachment. Love can be a selfless act, which makes it more of a pure love, right? If you only love someone for your own personal gain or your own selfish reasons, then of course, or like your own selfish attachment, then of course that would be a negative. But when you love someone for their own sake, and you can love everyone, then that builds like a more positive message. And again, that's like a redemption of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the very rules-based old Jedi Order that had fallen, right?
Yeah, I think the argument is, and also I think it is a good counter argument to like Jedi shouldn't get married, is like, first of all, Luke is going in relatively blind with the new Jedi Order, so even all the rules, like, you have to remember, like, he doesn't have access to like this long tradition. Like, he
gets bits and pieces.
Yeah, it is very fragmented, and so he's sort of like starting from a blank slate a little bit, and he can sort of reimagine the Jedi Order in his own vision, and he could, he could say, hey, we're reforming this, we're gonna,
which he does ultimately.
We're not gonna do this anymore. And you could say, well, he's only doing that because he wants to get married and all of a sudden.
So. How convenient.
But I think I can see the argument too, like that in some ways, like marriage can calm your passions, so to speak, like, so that you're not always thinking about it. You're sort of in just like a stable relationship, not thinking about your girl that you're chasing or whatever, right? Like there is sort of a a moderating effect that marriage can have on people. So
stabilizing.
So I think there is, like, you could make the argument.
Absolutely. And even again, going back to the Anakin Padme example, where everyone would point to is like, well, that's why you shouldn't. But you can also argue that it was the hiding of the relationship, and actually if they had been open about the relationship and the Jedi Order had been accepting of the relationship, none of that would have happened anyways as well, right?
100%.
And then further to that, you always have examples of other Jedi being allowed to have relationships in special circumstances, and even before that, Jedi were allowed to get married way back in like the Ancient Republic as well. So it's not like this has never been done or is completely unprecedented either.
Now it is true, but the pre-fall of the Jedi Order, it was, we're talking about thousands of years of tradition and bureaucracy.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's like impossible to break that, right? Like unless the Order gets destroyed and remade from the
completely.
ground up. So there is, it was sort of an impossible situation that Anakin was
Put into.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
yeah, I kind of also get vibes from like the Eastern Catholic tradition priests versus like,
yes. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Eastern Catholic
Yeah,
or Western?
they're the ones who are allowed to get married. Yes.
Right.
Okay. The priests, yeah, but not the like Roman Catholics.
Right.
Are not allowed to.
And then like the Orthodox Church, I believe priests are allowed to get
Yes.
married as well. So like you have these same kind of conflicting ideologies of like whether or not they should allow their clergy or holy men, which, you know, the Jedi are the same thing, like clergy, holy men.
Well, it is funny. I think like in the last 100 years or so, the Eastern Catholics came back into communion with
Roman
Rome.
Catholics.
And but Rome just like, yeah, you can allow them to still get married, their priests, because that was like they had not been in communion with Rome for like hundreds of years, and then they came back into communion with Rome, and Rome just allowed them to keep that rule, but still apply the rest of, if you get like catechized or whatever, or become a priest in like the Western tradition, you still can't get married. So it is a funny thing. Sorry, this is a weird tangent, but it is a funny thing because you will notice that a lot of priests who want to be Roman Catholic or they want to be Catholic priests, but they want to get married, they just
switch.
They become part of an Eastern Catholic church. So, it's like a loophole. It's like a funny loophole that people find.
The Vatican lawyers better get on that right away.
So, anyways.
But yeah, exactly. It has a parallel, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, coming back to the development of Mara Jade, let's just deal with all the out of universe stuff first, and then we'll get into like in universe conversations. Sure. Kind of just cool little factoids about Mara Jade's development as a character by Timothy Zahn. Her name, I'm just looking up what her name means. Yeah, so Zahn picked the name Mara. It's a Hebrew word that means bitterness, and then the name or the word Jade also has in some dictionaries means discarded woman. So it was a very intentionally picked name, Mara Jade, to be like, she was a servant of the emperor, kind of discarded, bitter, and then her whole redemption arc after the fact. Again, kind of on that note, I think it is a very fitting character to become Luke's wife, being that Luke's whole narrative is about redeeming the dark, right? Like his whole quest to redeem Darth Vader, and that his own wife ends up being a character who was deeply steeped in the dark side and herself is redeemed and joins the Jedi and ultimately becomes his wife. So I think that would, of any character that would become Luke's wife, there's an interesting kind of foil there that she embodies. The other thing about her story is that it gives a lot of interesting insights on the internal corruption of the Empire. A lot of her missions are actually policing her own side. She's executing like corruption, corrupt moths, corrupt governors, commanders, and that kind of thing. So even though she is a bad guy, she's still a tool of order within like the bad side of the Empire. So, but that does lead to a lot of kind of throwaway missions, if you got that from the episode, where there's just like a barrage of random events that she's going on.
It's very Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly. Like just pulpy, once a weekly comic book kind of format of like, she's on this mission, and then
or like video game.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we were talking about this before. I didn't love that she had this whole encounter with Luke Skywalker before. They wrote in after the Thrawn trilogy, but on the timeline, it was before the Thrawn events occurred. And I didn't really like that. They should have used they could have used Wedge or something.
Another character.
Yeah, because it was mostly like a rogue squadron story. I just, because the way that it's presented is they hadn't met before in the Thrawn series, and there's this whole story about where they did actually. Or they had some sort of.
Yeah, it's always, it gets awkward when you try to insert a character where they don't belong in the past in order to justify like a future encounter, or it kind of screws up a future encounter if you don't think about it well enough. which is exactly the case here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another cool aspect about her is that she is a Jedi hunter, but that's not all she is. So she's more than just like a one-dimensional. There can be only so many Jedi hunters and Jedi that escaped Order 66.
Yeah.
It's a cool story, but you can't tell it a million times.
Yeah.
So I do like that her character does involve elements of that, and she does use a lightsaber and everything, but she's also hunting, like I said, other imperial corrupt governors and that kind of thing. It is also cool the dynamic she has with Darth Vader, where she's led to believe she's actually like unique and aspiring and everything, and that actually speaks to Palpatine's character as a grand manipulator of both sides, right? He's using Mara Jade to like wound Vader and like dig his thumb into Vader, but also uses Vader's knowledge of like she's actually not as great as the Emperor leads her to believe.
Yeah, she thinks she could replace Vader.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it like actually works to Palpatine's benefit to pit them against each other, as is Sith tradition, is to always have your underlings fighting each other so they don't turn on you. But I thought that was a very cool story element that spoke more to Palpatine than it does either Jade or Vader. So.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Jade obviously exemplifies like a common trope, which is the femme fatale. Is usually an attractive, seductive, but deadly character. It's been a popular trope of like noir genres and that kind of thing, which kind of fits with Jade's like assassin vibe.
Is a bit tropey, for sure. Yeah.
She infiltrates places. She's got so many pseudonyms and plays so many characters that she acts as, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot there. I like Mara Jade as a character. I don't know what your feelings are generally.
Oh yeah, I think Mara Jade's awesome. I've always liked her character.
Yeah, like I said, she's always been like a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Anytime they've done like
she is one of like probably one of her and maybe Thrawn are like the most popular like non-film.
I wouldn't say characters. That only because there are some characters that have come out after that are much cooler and well loved, like Darth Revan, for example, is like. Usually peaks number one for most EU content.
Does it though?
Oh yes.
I'd have to.
But she definitely breaks like the top 10 for sure.
I'd say top 5, but
maybe.
Her and Thrawn are probably the top 5. Like
they're definitely up
non-film
there for sure. Characters.
EU characters. Yeah. Like, but yeah, like especially. Before the KOTOR video games came out.
And that's what I'm saying, is only because of the stiff competition of other great characters that have emerged since then.
Yeah, like there's Bane and stuff too. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's lots of great characters that have come out after the fact that might give Jade a run for her money, but like it doesn't reduce the quality of her character. It just means there are other characters that are also well loved as well.
For sure.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, awesome character. Let us know what you guys think of Mara Jade. If she's in your top 5, or if you want to marry her. So, but yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Rate and review the show. Peace.